Could the Chicago Bulls bring back Derrick Rose? Yes, that's right. D Rose, could he be back in Chi-Town? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, man, NBA here to talk about the Chicago Bulls. So if you're a Bulls fan, make sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below. Make sure you're following me on all my social media platforms. And guys, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. We have NBA free agency that is coming up. We need to talk about this. Let's get into it. So yeah, you probably weren't expecting this news. And to be honest, neither was I. All right, it came out of nowhere. So where is this coming from? Is this a report? Is this a rumor? Where is this coming from? It's basically being mentioned by Adrian Wojnarowski, who's of course a very, very, very good reporter, right? And he talked about this on a show with Zach Lowe, where they were talking about free agency and the NBA draft, and basically talking about how Derrick Rose could be a potential target for the Chicago Bulls in free agency this off season. All right. So when he said that, my antennas went up because Derrick Rose is a guy that we had not heard linked to the Bulls this off season. All right. We all know the number one priority for the Chicago Bulls this off season has been addressing the point guard position, and they are absolutely going to look to address that position this offseason. There's been a bunch of guys linked to the Bulls, right? Everyone from Lonzo Ball to Spencer Dinwiddie to DeJounte Murray to Kyle Lowry to Dennis Schroeder. There's been a ton of guys, but Derrick Rose hasn't been one of them, okay? And we all know, obviously, Derrick Rose and the Bulls in the fact that D Rose started his career with the Bulls. He's from Chicago. He was the hometown kid. We all know that. Youngest MVP in NBA history. But is he what the Bulls need right now, right? Just strictly speaking from a basketball perspective, and just taking out all the nostalgia again from D Rose being from Chicago and also wanting to bring D Rose back home. Like, just strictly from a basketball perspective, is Derrick Rose the guy that the Bulls should go after? Yes and no. Let me explain. Yes, because obviously he is a point guard and we do need help at the point guard position. So there is a clear fit there in terms of position, but it's a no because Derrick Rose, again, he's had a resurgence in his career because he's been fantastic with the Pistons and the Knicks, and he, turned himself into one of the best, if not the best bench scorer in the NBA. It's a no because Derrick Rose at this point in his career is 32 years old, and if you are bringing him in to be your starting point guard, I'm not so sure about that. So him as a bench scorer, which is exactly what he's become and very good at it, yes, I would like D Rose. But him being a starter over guys that I mentioned like Alonzo, like a Spencer Dinwiddie, I'm not so sure I like that. Just because, again, if we are talking about the future of this team and building, for a team that's going to be able to play into the future for the next, 2 to 4 to 5 years, not sure D Rose fits that timeline. And you might be thinking, Faiz, we have Vooch, who's not very young, but Nikola Vucevic still is an all-star caliber player in his prime. Derrick Rose is not that, right? Derrick Rose obviously has turned his career around, but this is still obviously not peak MVP prime Derrick Rose. And he's a much better fit for a team that's absolutely ready to contend now. And as of this point, the Bulls aren't a contender. Now, could they turn into one? Sure. But for a contender, Derrick Rose would not be a starting point guard. He would come off the bench. Let's just be honest about this, all right? Again, I'm trying to take the nostalgia out of it, all right? No bias here. I love D Rose, one of my favorite players ever. Obviously, Bulls fans all love him. But on a contender, he's coming off the bench. And if you were to do that for the Bulls, like let's say if we sign Lonzo or Dinwiddie or DeJounte Murray and Derrick Rose comes off the bench behind them, I would love that. But would he do that? I don't think so in terms of for the Bulls if he is the only guy that we assign. So that's kind of where I'm hesitating a little bit. I love D Rose, folks. I really, really do. There is a fit there, but it's only for a certain type of fit, right? Coming off the bench as a sixth man, as a scorer, as a backup point guard, not as a starting point guard. And the other thing is financially, right? Derrick Rose got paid about $7.5 million the last 2 seasons. He's going to look to get paid. And D Rose at this point should not be trying to give anybody a hometown discount. I want Derrick Rose to make his money. Now, I'm sure he wants to come back to the Bulls. We'll see what his market looks like. But if he's going to cost, you know, $10+ million, I'd rather spend that money on a younger point guard with more upside and potential, like a Lonzo Ball, like a Spencer Dinwiddie, like a DeJounte Murray, guys like that. So to me, sure, you can go ahead and take a look at D Rose. I'm not opposed to that. The front office should obviously inquire about everybody. Do your homework, look into D Rose, see what he costs, see what he's looking to get into in terms of a role. But ultimately, I'm leaning towards this not being the perfect fit for the Bulls. If we strike out on all the point guards, then yeah, at that point, if D Rose is the best option, sure, bring him in. But I want to take a look at these other guys first, see what they're about, see what their cost is before I go ahead and call Derrick Rose and gauge his interest. So let me know what you guys think about this. Look, I love D Rose. I'd love to bring him back. But again, this is a business, and I'm strictly speaking from a basketball perspective of what would be the best fit for the Chicago Bulls. So let me know what you guys think. I'd love D Rose to come back, but at what cost and at what role? Leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree, as always. Thanks for watching.